shoot this real quick before my phone dies, because I need to plug in my phone. I got an email from Dirk this morning, and we had been going back and forth about, okay, what do we want to do with Zoom next? He had done a couple of training sessions with him at the house. We've been doing public access runs at church, which I had been doing anyway. And he just needs to dial his training to the point where he's going to be a functional working dog. And he's just behind the curve. For a working dog, he is behind the curve, because if I had gotten him at 8 weeks, he would have started his public access by like 10 or 12 weeks. And I intend to do this with my next dog, as I have said. But I was just behind the curve. Because I changed what I was doing and got an older dog, as opposed to a puppy. But I had a lot of catch up to do. And the other issue that Dirk has pointed out, and this is just his assessment, from what he knows and how he has observed Zoom, or what he knows about dog training, is he's like, his fundamentals aren't there. And I think that's just the way Emily was training him. She was kind of doing stuff a little differently, and she was working from what she knew. And I was doing the best I could. I may have not done enough, I don't know. But anyway, so the plan right now is to have Dirk take him for 2 weeks at his house and train him at his house, do everything every day, multiple times a day, and take him everywhere. I need to do that, and I can't do that. And I also can't work him for 10 whatever hours, however long Dirk said he would work him. I mean, breaks in between, of course, because he's not gonna, Zoom isn't gonna respond if he works him all day. He's gonna need naps in between. I know this dog. He takes at least 2 naps a day. And but yeah, so I am like shuffling, trying to look at my money, and it's like, I need to put him back into a board and train situation and have somebody work him. And I'm doing the best I can, with what I know how to do and what somebody's taught me how to do. He's better. His heel definitely got better with a few things I've tweaked. But he still is like, if he isn't like under control, he's still kind of nuts, and he still needs to be worked, run way more, which I cannot do coming out of an apartment. We're working on that too. That's the other thing that's going to change, is my brother and his wife are moving into a new house. And as soon as this house has a functional fenced-in yard, or if we walk, well, it's probably not going to be at their house in the yard. It'll probably be out somewhere. We're just going to take the younger dogs, which Lemon, Sage, and Zoom, and just let them run. The problem is if they take them anywhere other than their house, they are going to need to be on late, so we'll see. But yeah, that's the other plan for letting him get some exercise and let him play with Sage and Lemon and wear each other out, and let him run and be a dog, because I can only do so much from my standpoint, and I'm like beating my head against a wall because my hands are tied in that regard. So I will give you guys an update with the board and train as soon as I know what I'm doing. Dirk and I are still working this out. So that will probably be the next training update, starting with this video. Because I think my last training update was probably my last training update was my last big public access run that Mom did. So yeah, so I'll work with that and get this video up probably the following week unless I choose to add to it. So until then, I'll either see you guys in the next clip, or this video will go up as is. Hey guys, I'm taking some time to get stuff going for the vlog, for an update on Zoom's training. I got an update from Dirk this morning, and since he is usually up earlier than me, and I usually get updates from him ridiculously early before, I wasn't even out of bed, and it was like one of the first new emails I had this morning, which means it was sent before my phone even clicked back on. So Zoom is doing good. Dirk is totally starting from scratch. And I think probably Zoom's inconsistency, a lot of it has to do, he had 3 different trainers that had 3 different approaches, and I don't think the breeder probably focused as much on, he had a little bit, his basics are okay, and so okay, but they're not great. Because he barely had basics down when I got him. And then he's working on, he still doesn't retrieve for Dirk, which I think Dirk finds kind of frustrating, and I'm trying to tell Dirk he does do it. It just he has to have the right amount of focus, which is why I've been working with him. Either when someone's here, he's not hyper-focused on that person, but when he has some moderate distractions, he does retrieve. He's been running a little bit more, and I can insert some clips Dirk sent me of him chasing Dirk's dog, Tinsel, who is a border collie, all over Dirk's backyard. So the other thing Dirk's doing is he's hand feeding him, and I think he's probably doing this to slow him down and make him focus. But I do think if Zoom is tired enough, but not overly tired, he will focus a little bit better. I'll see how he does at church today, but we'll see where that goes. And I expect this vlog to be a little bit longer. Anything I get from Dirk after today is probably going to go into the next vlog, because Dirk will have him for 2 weeks. So that's my plan. And I'll just see what Dirk wants me to work on after he brings him back. But I'm not too focused on that right now. I'm not super concerned about that. Yeah, so he's essentially stripping everything down and starting from scratch, which is fine because he needs to work on that stuff anyway. I'm essentially telling Dirk what I know will work with Zoom. I don't know if it's his focus or the environment of him, this is a new place and he doesn't know what Dirk wants. And Dirk is doing it differently than I do it. I was training Zoom for pickup with and without treats. His place obviously needs work, and he doesn't really settle that well with distractions. He He also is working on stand, which is something I thought he knew. He doesn't. And that will help with getting his vest on and off, because he's right now defaulting to a sit when you're trying to do that, and he barely stays still when you're trying to get it on him. So this board and train was all about working out the kinks. It'll work, but it's not working to a point that I could make it work 100% of the time completely by myself. So I'll let Dirk troubleshoot, since that's what he's good at. And I'll give you guys another update when I get another update from him. So, and I'll see you guys in the next clip or in the next video. The other thing Dirk's doing is he's hand feeding him, and I think he's probably doing this to slow him down and make him focus. But I do think if Zoom is tired enough, but not overly tired, he will focus a little bit better. I'll see how he does at church today, but we'll see where that goes. And I expect this vlog to be a little bit longer. Anything I get from Dirk after today is probably going to go into the next vlog, because Dirk will have him for 2 weeks. So that's my plan. And I'll just see what Dirk wants me to work on after he brings him back. But I'm not too focused on that right now. I'm not super concerned about that. Yeah, so he's essentially stripping everything down and starting from scratch, which is fine, because he needs to work on that stuff anyway. I'm essentially telling Dirk what I know will work with Zoom. I don't know if it's his focus or the environment of him, like, this is a new place and he doesn't know what Dirk wants, and Dirk is doing it differently than I do it. I mean, I was training Zoom for pickup with and without treats. His place obviously needs work. And he doesn't really settle that well with distractions. He also is working on stand, which is something I thought he knew. He doesn't. And that will help with getting his vest on and off, because he's right now defaulting to a sit when you're trying to do that, and he barely stays still when you're trying to get it on him. So this board and train was all about working out the kinks. It'll work, but it's not working to a point that I could make it work 100% of the time completely by myself. So I'll let Dirk troubleshoot, since that's what he's good at. And I'll give you guys another update when I get another update from him. So, and I'll see you guys in the next clip or in the next video, whatever comes. I did at church today, but he was tired because Dirk had already run him and stuff like that, and he had been working him since they got there. And I think he was working him around the campus before 11. So, but he was really good. I mean, they're essentially breaking down his behaviors. And the other thing he did last night was he got his dew claw caught again, and I'm lucky he didn't dislocate it, because they'd happened to trip and he couldn't run anymore, and he was out of commission for at least a week. So that wouldn't have been good for Zoom's training if that had been the case. But Zoom's dew claws are murder, and my mom is always saying, every time I mention it, it's like, why did breeders stop removing dew claws on puppies? Because it's like, domesticated dogs do not need their dew claws. Even the breeds that would use their dew claws now, majority of domesticated dogs do not use their dew claws, and they just get in the way. So it's like, so I have a major issue where his dew claws are curling, and you don't want a dog's nails curling, because then they can get ingrown and that can be all sorts of a mess. But now I have to watch it because I don't want him to dislocate his dew claws, or I don't want him to get them caught on things. And Dirk's girlfriend, Kat, she's like, we need to Dremel his nails, and he needs a bath at some point. I'm sure he does, since he's going to be outside a little bit more. So, but fortunately, they have all the stuff to take care of that. So, but they're just working on basics. I do not know why Zoom is not doing retrieves for him. My suggestion, I just told him this morning, so I don't think he probably had time to work on it. I mean, I do not let him, when I tell him to pick something up, I do not let him fail at it. I mean, I would have to go over there and show them what he's doing that he's supposed to be doing, because he will do it. But they're just working on basics. We'll see how he does when Dirk's other orders get in. They're working on his settle. He did really well. He only raised his head a couple of times when a kid was crying, or there were kids running by the table and stuff like that. So, but he's doing really well. It's just going to take a while to get him moving in the right direction. And I still don't know why he's not doing his pickups for Dirk, considering he was doing them for Emily and doing them for me. And I have no idea why he's not doing them for Dirk. So, out of his behavior, I'm not quite sure why he's not doing that. Other than that, I'm happy with what Dirk's doing. And I'll give you an update as soon as I have one from Dirk. He said he'd update me like a couple of times a week, which is fine. And so I'm happy with that. And I'm also happy but it's slow progress. I'm not too worried about his retrieve, even if he doesn't do it with Dirk, because I know he'll do it for me. I just need to make it more consistent. I'm hoping if Dirk can at least get him going the right direction, I can pick up the slack. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm not even going to think of working on anything until I get him back, which won't be for like another week and a half. I already have plans for next weekend, and I'll work on that. So yeah. So I'm really happy with what he's doing so far. I'm happy that he's actually getting exercise, because it's making him a little bit more manageable. I just wish I could keep that up, which I can't here because I have nowhere to run him. I'm literally going to have to call somebody and say, hey, can you come run the dog? Which I may start doing until I can at least bring him over to Ray and Jackie's, which I can't until they have their fence in their new yard. Because they have the fence, but they have a section of it broken. So I have to wait for them to fix that. And Jackie was thinking, oh, we can use this 3-foot. Well, their one golden could clear that lickety split. She can clear a 3-foot fence. A 3-foot fence isn't ideal for any large sized dog anyway. So, but yeah, so I got to wait on that. Worst case scenario, I will come and have Dad run him in the evening or late afternoon, because it's just, Dad can do that way more effectively than I can. I can only go 6 miles an hour in the chair, and that's the best I can do. And I certainly can't run him off lead because there's nowhere safe I can do it. I'm too close to too many parking lots and roads, and certainly 29 is way too busy for that. So I will figure that out Ray and Jackie are definitely part of that equation. It's just an issue. Okay, can I get Zoom over there at least 4 times a week? We'll see. My backup plan until that's ready is to have Dad come and run him. Just because what I can do is not enough to put a dent in his energy so I can actually train him. So we'll work with that, but I'll see what Dirk can get done in the next 2 weeks. It's only been 24 hours, so we'll see how that goes. And I'll update you guys with the next update from Dirk as soon as I get it.